because I want to go to a better location. Sorry if I'm a little close here. Very close. It's always different each one. I want to reposition myself here because I got the background. I prefer to sit in a higher frequency chair. So let's see, that was about 35 seconds in. Okay, good. The other phone is there. Let's see. Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Paranormal Psychic Live. As I had titled tonight's live that this is the last live before Amy and I conduct investigations in Las Vegas back to back Monday. I'm thinking here, if you're on the East Coast, we may not be on until midnight of that. So midnight into March 24th. And then midnight, this is East Coast time, New York time, of March 25th. Maybe a little bit earlier than that, but I can't predict with the technology. But probably also, too, I'll be able to upload on here, if everyone's interested, the first live that happens earlier in the evening. So the good thing is with the replay, if you're not catching it live, you can always listen back. It's a new moon in less than 2 hours in Pisces. I did just film another video on that. I haven't posted it here, but if there's interest, I can post it after the live tonight. And that's 28 degrees, and that's at 9:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I've been saying this. It's a very creative new moon. I don't know how everyone was feeling. I definitely took it as a day to do less than more, even though I'm still doing. But my inner body senses were saying, go very slow today, because I know I'm not planning for tomorrow to be a slow day. I am, if all goes well, planning to film more ghost story videos. And also I'm planning on the Pine Barrens area, and I'm hesitating saying that because not on here, but things got a little heated about my Pine Barrens video with someone else in the somewhere else in the comments. So it's even more so to go film in the Pine Barrens. There's lots of stories about the ghost stories about the Pine Barrens, too. I am not that far from the Pine Barrens here in New Jersey. So I need to get that all ready for tomorrow too, as well. So it's a creative new moon. It's an artistic new moon. It's a psychic new moon. It's a sensitive new moon. It's a spiritual new moon. You really want to surrender to the ebb and flow of feelings, because all this Pisces is about feelings and connecting with your feelings. What are you feeling? Are you feeling highly creative? I know earlier, spontaneously, I just called a publishing house. Like, it was just like out of nowhere. And it was actually a very positive discussion to get the ball rolling. I wasn't planning on that, but I let the energies just, the light from the crown enter into my soul and consciousness, and I went with it. And it, it just came out of nowhere. So that's what too, with the Pisces too, if you open your senses, your feelings to that artistic spontaneity, something, maybe you're thinking part of it, but doesn't all, you weren't thinking fully on that, but you go and you let the energy, you embrace the energy with that. And then it's interesting because we have the new moon at 9:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then tomorrow, the moon's in Aries, which is a very different energy. And another video I filmed, which I'll be posting in the next couple days, is about, doing it, going for it. Like I said, tomorrow I am planning, if all goes well, to film, thinking in the ballpark of 4 videos. We'll see more or less how the day goes. But the Aries moon really helps with that getting from location to location with filming. It's very inspirational to have the energy, the chutzpah. I don't know. I was feeling a little more flagged down energetically today. I surrendered to that. So how are you all feeling energetically with that? But then, yeah, I mean, then we move into Aries moon. It's Thursday. We're in Aries moon. By Friday, 10:48 p.m., 10:48 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Friday, the sun has moved into Aries as at the same time as the spring equinox. So officially here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's spring, right? So in the Southern Hemisphere, Australia, if I'm saying this correctly, moves into fall for them. So we move into spring. I know those of us here on the East Coast are looking forward to some spring weather. For us, we've had what I think we would call a colder winter. And I know as I move to Las Vegas, I'm moving into 90 degrees something weather, really almost 100 degrees. So that's going to be very drastic too, and always when you're out in the desert, lots of water, and if your throat, you can coat it with honey and all of that. I know when I was performing shows, sometimes before the shows in Vegas, I was taking spoonfuls of honey to coat my throat with speaking. So it's really, I mean, Friday's a really active day astrologically. So with new moon intentions, you can set them tomorrow, Thursday, and also Friday, Mercury goes direct. Hi, knock. Mercury goes direct Friday too. So that's when people are asking me with jobs and business deals. Hi, good evening. Where are you tuning in from? Just you can let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. I always like to know, get an idea where people are, and also to what time zone that you're in. That helps me too with it. But Mercury goes direct Friday in Pisces, and people have been asking me with jobs, with business deals, depending on the circumstances. Hi, Ali. Where are you tuning in from? Good evening. I've been telling people at the least to wait till next week. If you have to take a job, take a job. If the TV breaks down and you need a TV, buy a new TV. All this with Mercury retrograde, but it is coming to an end. But that thinking communication planet stays in Pisces through next month. So Friday is a really active day. And then also, so tomorrow you can work with intentions. I think Saturday is the better day to work with intentions and what you want to co-create, however you want to call it, God, Allah. I think Saturday is the better day. We get a Taurus moon. That's also a money moon. This video I just filmed a little over an hour ago. That's what's saying that I'll be posting. I was saying also too, if you want to restructure your money or how you're bringing in new revenue streams, what are you phasing out? Because now it's like you're going from night to day. Let's say Pisces is night and Aries is day. This concludes Friday morning New York time. Let's just say 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's a major energy shift too, because Aries is go get 'em, go, rah, rah, rah. It's the, the cheerleader doing, the most, visible cheers, or the loudest cheers to cheer the team, or it's the star athlete scoring the touchdown, um, winning, bringing the team to victory, winning the tennis match, all of that. So that, because I have notes, I know last week we discussed nothing for my notes, which is fine. Took a totally different turn, the live, but it was also for me a fruitful live. And so what's coming up the next time that I'm live is so as I was saying, probably around midnight New York time, we will go live with at least a half hour of the investigations that Amy and I are conducting Monday at the Apache Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, and Tuesday, El Cortez. To maybe we'll get, be able to go live around 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if it's midnight, it's into early, the first hours of Tuesday, March 25th, and then the first hours of Wednesday, March 25th. And it does give you an opportunity to see in real time a paranormal investigation. And we are 2 nights in a row, and it's Las Vegas, and Las Vegas is a fun and exciting town. It is a city that never sleeps. It is a 24/7 vibe type of town. So this past week, I filmed in Philadelphia, a direct experience story from when we filmed On the Street for the Haunted Places pilot back in August. I'm not sure when I'll post that because I've been not posting my direct experiences as videos. I've been posting the ghost stories or people's experiences. Also, both of the videos are up that I recently filmed. I filmed in Lenoka Harbor at the Jersey Shore, the Phantom Boats story. I think it's a cool story. And I'll say this also with the lives, because when you listen or it's the replay, I do think that the Phantom Boat story of Lenoka Harbor, I think that is an example of a residual. So when you talk about the paranormal and what's a residual, so a residual is that an imprint of something that happened still remains in the frequency and the vibration. And that story, as I said in the video, is the 1920s Prohibition era. And to see, have I seen the Phantom Boat? No, I haven't. It was the first time I actually even went to that area in Lenoka Harbor of the Barnegat Bay to film the video. What was interesting was there was a very striking wind that at one point with filming almost knocked me down backwards, but it didn't, luckily, because sometimes when you take in a spiritual level, like winds are speaking to you. But I think it's a really cool story. I'm not sure how everybody that's watched the video here what you think. And I always say that the lives are an opportunity to tell me in regards to content and the wheelhouse that my content is in, or the wheelhouses, what you're interested in from me as far as content and videos. But yes, the investigations, we're going to go live. It's me and Amy. We have done an investigation together last year at Circus in Las Vegas. So we have been on an investigation before. So it should be a lot of fun. Too, I know on here when we did the live, actually, what was cool with the live on here, with the investigation going live last month with 222 PIR, which has a podcast here every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you want to check that out as well, with Todd, Carmela, Chris, and Audra, paranormal investigators, and they have guests on every week. What was cool with the live, the paranormal investigation live here, was actually that one of the listeners got verification from his grandpa that Grandpa was visiting, and Grandpa did ding the equipment and also confirmed through the spirit box that he does visit his grandchild. So that was really cool. Maybe when we're live from Vegas, maybe we'll be able to do that. I'm always open to that. If to say there's a lot of variables, if we're peaking with activity, meaning we're not able to do that. Like when we were at the Marl Pit house in the bedroom, there wasn't really much going on activity wise. So then I was able to do that with a listener. So we don't know, until we're in the thick of it. But if it is slow at that time with activity while we are live here, and you're listening, and if you're feeling a certain relative has been around you or a loved one, we can see whether they will confirm during that live, that confirmation for you. So Monday night, probably into Tuesday, New York time, we're at the Apache Hotel and Casino, which has allegedly 50 haunted rooms, and we are going to be in what is considered the most haunted room at the Apache. The following night, we're at El Cortez, which is haunted as well. And I believe we're in one of the original vintage rooms from when El Cortez opened its doors in 1941. So that should be exciting because, as I said, you get to see it in real time. We don't know. Are we going to strike gold? Is it going to be, nothing? That's the whole, trial and error that you experience when you conduct a paranormal investigation. As I said, in January, I was at the Covenhoven in Freehold, New Jersey twice. The first time, I got experiences as a paranormal psychic medium, but the team really that I was there with, really, I think I want to say ended up really empty handed. But then when I returned to Covenhoven with Carmela and Todd, we all struck gold. It was just really euphoric, too. And Amy's got a good energy too. Kid ghosts like her. She's very festive, peppy, upbeat. But what we did find out with the Apache room, somebody allegedly on a paranormal level was choked. So that's really important to establish boundaries when you walk in the room, that you're not okay with being choked, and you're not going to accept that, because when you're dealing with lower vibration entities, they will go in for the jugular. Okay, literally in this instance, if you don't establish boundaries, that's really important when you conduct an investigation, to establish boundaries, what you'll accept, what you won't accept. Also, too, we say this again, you shouldn't be drinking or drugging. You want to be as clear and lucid as possible. You want to ground yourself before you conduct the investigation. Too, that's really important, because you don't know energetically who or what is there connected with the grounds. So you want to be as sharp as possible and as prepared as possible. That's really important with investigations, too, because you're opening a Pandora's box if even anyone on your team is drinking or drugging, as well. And I know this with mediumship too. That's why we tell you during appointments or shows, when you want mediumship, especially, you shouldn't be drinking or drugging beforehand, too, because it also can invite more negativity. And in the not paranormal psychic mediumship, but that's not what we want during psychic mediumship with relatives, loved ones, pets, and spirit. So the Pine Barrens video I filmed, got on social media a lot of traction. Actually, my most viewed video across the board on social media, which was a pleasant surprise, and also confirmed to me that I will return sooner than later to film more videos in the Pine Barrens. When I was looking where to film the video, and I am familiar with the road, even though some people, people love to, think they're correcting you and you don't know what you're talking about and all of that nonsense, type of banter, which is negative and in the end not productive because of the demeanor and the disposition of the words that the people are writing in the comments. I was thinking, I was trying to get up to Jackson, but this also goes, it's funny, the synchronicity of Jackson and the hostility I received on another social media where I was threatened for this, the Pine Barrens video, um, that I drove the south side of 539, and this is where people were bickering with me when I tracked it with the app. Where, and I'm not faulting Weird New Jersey that's saying, but I was, to satisfy my curiosity, saying, how is this Manahawkin, when I lived in Long Beach Island, New Jersey for 3 years, Manahawkin's Inn, that when I got to the light of the intersection, it said Barnegat. And then when I crossed through it, it said Forked River. Some of these men really just hostile and irate, just really bad manners as personalities, just the bottom of the barrel energy. And that's what, when I tracked it with the phone, what it said. And I did see the sign that on that road, it says 610. So, they can go pound salt as far as I'm concerned, but, it is what it is. So I got really fixated on tracking with where this alleged apparition is seen from the south end of the country road. So then when I started to drive it back to go north, I didn't go drive all the way, it'd be another half hour. So I did stop, and some people freaked out, like, oh my God, you're on the road. You're going to be a ghost, blah, blah, blah. I was not on the road when I filmed the video. I was actually on the brown grass section, and I wasn't there very long because it's not a detailed video. It's just about an apparition sighting. It's not like the Lenoka Harbor, which is legs to it, with a story about great grandpa McDonald and prohibition and, just the bootlegging and, ferrying the whiskey illegally. There's a lot of moving parts to the Lenoka Harbor story. So I wasn't, I just spontaneously pulled the car over. And yeah, I didn't have any cell phone service. It was a dead zone. I have driven that road before, so it did jot my memory, and I said, I really don't want to drive anymore. And I wanted the blue sign saying 539 because it just added specialness to the video. So, with that, and then when I was tracking, because with the video, what am I putting as the location? I did find out actually where I filmed it is considered also the Pine Barrens. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll put the location as the Pine Barrens, and I mean, really not so much on here, but several other of my social media, especially one it really took off, but the one where I got the threat was not where it took off the most, but the second most, too. So I don't take very kindly to being threatened over a video I'm filming because somebody has a chemical imbalance and isn't in their right mind. That makes me even more want to film in the Pine Barrens because of it. Because I was thinking, oh, you know what? I'll go back to Atlantic City this week. Because on another one of the social media, they told me they want more Atlantic City videos. But I do have, how many do I have in the vault? I have about, I want to say 3 Atlantic City videos in the vault. But that's what also saying too, when I sign off after tonight, I have to organize all the content for the Pine Barrens videos for tomorrow. I gotta locations, track them, to, also swirling through my head. I want to try to get 4 videos in because what I saw, I mean, you don't get to see it on here, but people ran down the football field, especially with the social media that it's got the most views. With, I mean, when I last looked, it's got over 130,000 views. People in the comments did all these Soprano jokes and Soprano memes, and so that was cool. It also, people were having fun in the comments, and healthy fun. That's the thing. I don't tolerate, negativity in the comments, those people are ejected because they should be going somewhere else. When I see a video I don't like, I scroll past it and I move on. I'm not compelled to insult people, denigrate, degrade. That's some serious mental health issues, in my opinion, with those people. And you do get with social media, but the majority of the people are lovely. I too don't want to seem like I'm focusing on the negative. The 80% or more are lovely and they enjoy the videos, and that's why I film the videos and all of that. So the plan is, we'll see. Also, it is very cold here on the East Coast. Today was a very cold day. We'll see with filming outside. That has been a bit of a difficult winter for me because a lot of the videos are outside videos. I'm glad with Las Vegas we're actually going to be indoors, and not because it's cold, but the reverse, that it's going to be going up to about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's the good thing with Las Vegas. They don't skimp on the air conditioning, and especially now that the temps are like summer weather for Sin City. So I am planning the Pine Barrens tomorrow. We'll see with braving the cold outside how that goes, but that should be the last of me saying that, because with filming this winter, that did create obstacles. I had wanted to film. I was in New York City last week, and the weather did not allow me to film outside because it was raining, snowing, which we were like, it was just 80 degrees the day before. What the heck is happening? It was really, but I had wanted to film some New York City ghost story videos, but it wasn't, weather conditions prohibited me, because I didn't have any indoor location videos to film when I was in Manhattan last week. They were all outdoor, but hopefully maybe May I'll get to film those videos, possibly May, June, maybe. Also too, saying I am planning also to have another live investigation in April. I don't know the date yet, because there are many more variables. But next month in Greece, I found a kids park in Athens, Greece, that's allegedly haunted. And I did have a conversation back and forth with a Greek from Greece that lived near the park, 5 minutes, he was saying, and he was telling me information regarding to activity. So I would like to also, now that's going to get a little trickier because I'm outside, and, the phone has to be fully charged up, and, it's a little more complex, but I would like to go live on here for about a half hour from the kids park. Now here's the other, when we get into Greece, and that's what's saying, and even with April and the lives, but I'll talk about the March live schedule. That then when I'm in Greece, that's 7 hours ahead of New York time. So which means if I'm going live on here, and I'm just going to say at this point, possibly 9 p.m. New York time. 9 p.m. Athens time. That's no, wait, sorry. Okay, yeah, no, this is, I'm thinking with the time zones because I'm moving to the West Coast shortly, and then I come back, and then I'm moving 7 hours ahead. I'm going behind soon, and then I'm going ahead of here. So that means if I go live around 9 p.m. here, yeah, it's going to be 2:30 in the afternoon. So I'll talk about, so the schedule next week is, hopefully with everything tech wise. And I want to say, I think it's going to happen because I'll have access to charge the phone because we're indoors. I'll be live on here with investigations Monday night next week, Tuesday night next week. Then I'm planning for March to have the last live. I'm thinking right now Thursday, March 26th, start time 9 or 9:30 p.m. New York time, because in April, the first the first weekends of April, I'm going to have to move the lives in April to the weekend because of the time difference. Probably be Saturday mornings, New York time. Um, because yeah, if it's because I'm saying people go out. I'm not sure, but it's I'm probably in April. The first 3 weekends are going to be on Saturdays, the lives, and then also too. I don't know everybody who's listening, but it's Catholic Easter the first Sunday. Well, if it's Saturday, it's Holy Saturday. Then the second Sunday, it's Greek Orthodox Easter. But just to also, when we get into April, anybody that watches the replay in April, the lives are going to most likely be Saturday mornings unless I can stay up late, Athens time, and then maybe something 5 p.m. But that just, the changing of the guards, which I will talk about on the March 26th live here, because that will be the last live before the schedule changes. But that should be exciting because going into unknown territory in Greece. I mean, there are investigations that are conducted in Greece. And if you scroll down my page in the haunted objects videos that I filmed with Jonathan Bright, who's a well-known paranormal investigator in Greece, has also been on, I believe, In Search of Aliens on the History Channel. He's gotten actual pictures of the Loch Ness Monster in Scotland that have been verified, which is very cool, too. I'm not sure exactly who I'm conducting the investigation with yet. It may just be me. There may be people, there may even be a 12-year-old boy, my cousin's son. I have messaged her and asked, because if there's kid ghosts, a child being there we may even get more communication. A lot of times with these kid ghosts, right, we're bringing desserts, and I really saw that with Amy when we were at Circus because she brought cake because it was one of the investigators' birthdays, and the kid ghosts and the communication. Hi, Nancy. Good evening. Welcome to the Paranormal Psychic Live here. If you could let me know where you're tuning in from, that would be very helpful. I'd appreciate that. So I was talking about, because I've got some live investigations coming up Monday and Tuesday from Las Vegas too, because then I'm talking about the time zones. And you're in New Jersey. Okay, so you're in the same time zone. So you can let me know what you're interested into. If you looked at my description, I do post a lot of ghost story videos, because that has been the interest with the videos that get the most views. Though, if you looked at my quick bio, also, it's not only the paranormal and the ghost stories and the paranormal psychic mediumship, it's also psychic, meaning what's coming up for someone, psychic mediumship, relatives, loved ones, pets. I was talking astrology at the beginning of the live tonight. Spirituality. Last week, we had a really deep discussion about religion, but that was a one-off. And two, that is not the usual discussion here. So I was talking also too that I'm planning to be live from a kids park in Athens, Greece next month. But if you're interested to see a paranormal investigation in real time, it is going to be late Monday night and late Tuesday because of the time zone difference. But you can always watch the replay. That's the good thing here with YouTube, is that I am able to upload the replays. So, and I see it with one of my other social medias, more people watch the replay at this point than they're tuning in live. So, I'm always, figuring out. Yeah. So you can always tell me what you're interested in, because I'm just looking at my notes, because I am planning to keep this live on the short side. If you follow my page, or you can follow my channel here on YouTube as well. Because as I'm looking at my talking points, sometimes I use my talking points, sometimes I don't. But tonight I am using my talking points. And as far as my talking points, I've gone through them. So I'll ask you this, Nancy, is there anything specifically you're interested in, or you're just listening? Because then I'm going to start to wind down the live. But that's what's saying too. These videos that I filmed they're from requests on social media. That's how I moved into mostly ghost story videos. I do post some astrology, but they don't get the views that the ghost story videos get on social media. I did film another. You're just listening. Okay, yeah. So I do have another astrology video. So it's the new moon at 9:30 tonight. So if you're into that and it's in Pisces, you can work with the energy tomorrow. I like Saturday to work with the new moon energy because the spring equinox has fully arrived on Friday morning, our New Jersey time. So I think Saturday is a good day. And Mercury has gone direct. I've been telling people with business deals, this week to hold off, mostly people that are looking for new jobs. I just had somebody asking, you're a Capricorn. Okay. Yeah. And do you want to say what day, month, year you are? Oh, that's just a script. I will pick it up after. It's up to you. But as far as with Capricorns, I would say more past tense. You were put through the paces, Capricorns, when Pluto was touring your sign. Maybe January was a rough month. I know I had Capricorns reaching out here on the lives saying what the heck in January is going on, because we had a lot of planets in Capricorn. Do you also know what time you're born, Nancy? Because then I can be more precise. But even with what you've given me, I can give you something, definitely. So I'll start typing. No, okay. So what you're going to hear is what we call a solar chart. A natal is when you know the time. But I'll say this. The good news is, Nancy, anybody born in the United States can find out their time of birth. The Department of Vital Statistics has that information, because I had someone that I read for, he was born in England, and he was asking me the same question, where do I go? And I said, I don't have an answer for you. I can only answer for anyone in the United States. So the Department of, if you can't find it, your time of birth, I'm just saying, moving forward, the Department of Vital Statistics, Nancy, does have your time of birth. Let me just look here. So you were born, I want to say here, you were born the day after the full moon. Okay. So, can you just tell me what town you were born? It very well. I'll tell you this. I was born at Clara Moss in Belleville. And I remember, I can say for Clara Moss that it is on my birth certificate, because I remember going to the Newark. Okay, yeah, so you're Newark, I'm Belleville. Clara Moss, I went to the office to get my birth certificate, which had my time. Yeah, Newark, New Jersey. Yeah, I grew up in Kearney, up until my teenage years. So Clara Moss, when I went to the office for my birth certificate, this is a while ago, decades ago, the birth time for Clara Moss was, so it could very well be on your birth certificate. Yeah, that's a definite possibility. So saying too, so I would say, you're a Capricorn, and that's it. And that's not, you grew up in Union. Yeah, right? So that's exit 140, right? Would you say, off the Garden State Parkway? Or Maybe I'm off an exit or two, but I think of Union as exit 140 on the GSP. Um, you're a Capricorn. That's, yeah, okay, so I was right with the exit. Okay, good. Okay, got that, tick that box, got that right. So when you were born, you're a Capricorn. You may want to write this down on a piece of paper. You may, cross paths with someone that's an astrologer. Your moon, which is your emotions and can also be health. I don't diagnose health. I'm a doctor of philosophy, not medicine. Your moon sign is Cancer. So that gives you, you're very sensitive person. I think sensitivity is an asset. You're also a softie. That's what that says to me. For people that are born with the moon in Cancer, the relationship with the mother is very, very important, because that Cancer moon is the sign. Cancer is the mother in astrology, and Capricorn, your sun sign, is the father. So as an astrologer, I see with the Cancer moon that the relationship, it's really important to have had a good relationship with your mother. You do not need to answer that. I am not asking for a yes or no. I'm just telling you from an astrological perspective how that is interpreted. You do have a Capricorn. Okay, so you had a good relationship with mom, Nancy? If you want to say another yes, that too. You have a Capricorn stellium, which means 3 or more planets in the same sign. As an astrologer, for me, they don't have to be in close degree to be a stellium. So you have your thinking planet is Mercury, your planet of your thinking planet is Capricorn. Your Mercury's Capricorn. Your Jupiter, which is your planet of good fortune, is also Capricorn. Your Saturn, your work career planet, and also the father, is in Capricorn. That is a fantastic placement for Capricorn, because Capricorn is also work and career. And to say, because I don't know what house it's in, that's what I'm saying. Even what I'm doing right now is what we call a good start, because you know what I mean? And the thing too, Nancy, you can always listen to the replay, which should be up by tomorrow, and you can write this down. If you don't want to write it down right now, you can always go back in the replay, because I'll have it up. It'll upload probably by tomorrow. Okay, so you had a good relationship with mom. Great, because, and I'll say this, Nancy, and I've read for people, and I know people with the Cancer moon as yourself that did not have a good relationship with mom, and it emotionally damaged them. So when you have that moon in Cancer and you have a good relationship with mom, you are on much more solid footing than people with the same moon sign as you that did not have a good relationship with mom. They usually have a lot of emotional challenges. This is what I've seen as an astrologer. So I'm glad to hear that yeah, that you have a good yeah, because it puts you in the driver's seat. That too, because then you're able with your feelings. You know what I mean? Usually you're not as skittish about them as someone that didn't have a good relationship with mom and has that Cancer moon. You're able to balance out your feelings, but you do have a Capricorn stellium. So, when you need to be tough, you're tough. And when you need to be soft, you can also be soft, depending on the situation and the circumstance. What I was going to ask you, Nancy, with the Saturn and Capricorn, and that I don't know what house it's in. So usually people with Saturn and Capricorn go to the top of their profession. Again, I don't know what house it's in, so I don't know where this Capricorn is. Would you say that is accurate to you with your work and your career? That's usually people, it's a great placement for the Saturn because it's in its natural ruler. The moon, again, is in its natural ruler. you are able to work well with your feelings. You're able to find balance. Some full mooner people are not. That's my experience as an astrologer, too. Now, your action planet is retrograde, and it is in Cancer. That, to me, is your challenge area with your primary planets. Your Mars, you were a housewoman with 6 kids. Well, then you did it well, Nancy. That's why I'm saying I don't know what house it was in, because what I have here, it would be in the home. Well, what I know with all that Capricorn, you did I'll say a damn good job with raising 6 kids, too. Your Venus, which is your romance and your relationships, is Aquarius. So you should be someone that is interested in, yeah, that's saying you did a good job. And you know this, too, as a mother, there are mothers, a percentage of them that are not qualified to be mothers. That's not you, too. So your vocation was your home and your 6 children, because that, obviously, this 6 children is even more than a full-time job. How about a Virgo? What about a Virgo? Are you asking romantically about a Virgo? Virgos and Capricorns are usually very compatible. It's the same element. It's Earth. Yeah. If you're saying from the sun signs, they are usually compatible. Do you know the day, month, and year of the person you're asking about? So this will be a little of what we call solar synastry, because we don't have the time. If you do, otherwise, if you're saying from a sun sign, yes, usually Virgos and Capricorns are very compatible. They're compatible for a relationship and what year? September 3rd of what year? Okay, then yeah, I can't do anything with it without the year. If you're saying from a sun sign, yeah, I think that you should continue to get to know this person. He's 50. Okay. So which means he will be 51 in September. So that would be 1975. Okay, so if he's 50, then he's going to be 51 in September. So he's Virgo with Leo moon. I like Leo. Well, let me see. Yeah, he is. Oh, no, he's 60. Okay. Let's put 65 in. Okay, so he's Sag moon. It's still fire. This should be somebody that's expressive, that he should be able to talk. He should be a talker for a Virgo. His thinking planet is Leo. He should also be, when it comes to relationships, romantic. His Venus is in Libra, and that's the ruling placement. It's exalted in Libra. It's in the sign that Venus is, Libra, in the Western astrology. He also has a Virgo stellium, so he can be really nitpicky, but then he can also be very enthusiastic and generous, and he should have a good energy level. Of course, I don't have the houses they're in. That's why when I was asking you, I was saying with your Saturn and Capricorn that I don't know what house it was in to see where the theme is for you, but still, we were able to figure it out where the calling was for you with Saturn and Capricorn. He's definitely different than you, and I think different is good. I think you need some contrast. I feel you should continue to get to know him. And I'll say this, Nancy, too, right? Because this is the first time you're tuning into my live, which is, I've been on here, and I had one woman especially who got really irate with me because I didn't tell her what she wanted to hear, because I'm not that type of psychic or astrologer. There's hundreds of them. People can hop on the lives and they'll be told what they want to hear. So I'm being genuine with you. I feel you should continue to get to know him. That's what, aside from an astrology chart, that's why I am not that psychic, and I don't care if they don't return, because I've been taking appointments for 30 years. But I do feel you are to continue to get to know him. I get that really strong. And he does, it is a different energy than you two. Like, you can find common ground with both being earth signs. And I feel also you can learn from him too. Also on the emotions level as well. He should be good. Venus Libra people are usually very romantic, and he's got his action planet in Scorpio. So he should have a good energy level, too. I feel you're supposed to continue to get to know him. I'll say this as an astrologer. Mercury is retrograde right now. So, I tell people don't make any decisions right now. And that's also with love life. Mercury's going to go direct on Friday, into next week, into April. You get a better idea, but I feel you're still in the getting to know each other stage of the relationship. Does that make sense to you? Yeah, okay, because I wasn't sure where you stood on past lives because you're just tapping in a screen. I'll tell you this, Nancy, too. So that does make sense to you. When you are of the same element, which you and him are both earth signs, that in astrology usually indicates many lifetimes together. So that was the only thing I was really holding off on, because I haven't gotten a gauge definitely on here where the interest is with past lives or the wanting that in the discussion. But if you're saying from your sun signs, that's a lot of past lives together, you and him. I mean, this is not the first time at the rodeo meeting up. So it's a lot of lives, previous lives. It's not just this life. You met him and you know each other. This is a pre-existing bond too. Yeah, so it does with that. But saying right now, when I tune in and I'm saying astrology aside, on a psychic level, I get right now you continue to get to know each other. That's where this is in the present. And in the months ahead, I think about 6 months out, you'll have a better idea. I'm into the fall, too. You're still getting to know each other, but that's good, because there are people that I tell no to as well, or like, I'm not getting that with you tonight. That's what's saying. Not that I say no, but I be a little evasive. And as you see, I'm not being evasive with you tonight. But that's energetically what I get in the present with you and him. So continue to get to know each other, enjoy it. You're going to San Juan, Puerto Rico. Well, I'll tell you that's going to raise the vibration of the relationship too. I feel that that's going to be really good for the relationship. Are you going soon? Next month? This spring you're going? I feel that that's going to bring the relationship to a new level. I feel good about it. Next month, yeah, which that's good because all the planets are in forward motion next month, and you got a full moon April 1st. Aries Libra, and that moon is going to activate his romance planet too, that full moon on April 1st. So I feel that the relationship with the trip is going to go from strength to strength. I feel good about the trip. And I feel also with the weather and the sun. So I do feel that this relationship is building, and you should continue to build this relationship with him. I feel good vibes off of it. So I'm glad about that. Too. I feel positive about it. I feel energetically good when I'm talking about this with you. So I feel the trip is going to be good. And I think it's going to take the relationship to the next level. But see, that's the thing. This all has to unfold. This hasn't unfolded yet. You haven't gone on the trip. It hasn't moved to the next level. But there's definitely, I feel that this is a relationship oriented man. So saying, and I think that that's good for you because Capricorn needs stability and solidness. So, it's that you can balance each other out. So I feel good about it. It's a blessing too. That that you're in a good time of your life with this relationship, so continue to move forward with it. That's saying you can follow my channel if you want. As I said, I do mostly post paranormal videos, but I may post even, I filmed another new moon video just a couple hours ago. I may post it on here. I do have one with the new moon on here, but I filmed a more detailed one just before the live. And then I'm going to post another astrology video for Friday, either tomorrow on here or by Friday. And that's going to be about the equinox, because if you see behind me, my owl tonight, my background is the spring equinox, and owls represent wisdom. It is Athena's on her shoulder, the goddess Athena, the goddess of counsel. I filmed a video on that. So there are some astrology videos on the page. And like I said, you can always let me know in the comments what you're interested in. But I am going to leave that with you tonight. I am going to wrap up. I think Spirit sent you to this live for that confirmation that you are on the right track and path with this man, too. And I feel also your mother's mother has been around a lot lately, and she likes him too, as well. But I'm going to leave you with that tonight. I probably will be back on next Thursday, I'm thinking. But I have these investigations Monday, Tuesday that I am planning to go live for at least a half hour. So, you can... Yeah, no, I'm saying meaning in heaven. That's what I'm saying. Your mother's mother in spirit approves of this man. Oh, I know she's not here. When I'm saying that, that's when I was talking with the mediumship, relatives, loved ones, pets. Your mother's mother is in spirit, has been around with this relationship with you and him, and she likes him. So I'm going to leave you with that, Nancy, but you can always follow the channel. You can, like I said, it's probably going to be the next live in this format. I'm thinking like around 9:30 on the 26th next week, because I have the 2 investigation lives. Tomorrow is the 19th. The next one in this format will be on the 26th. And then the investigations Monday, Tuesday, could be early hours into Tuesday, Wednesday, because of the time difference in Vegas. But I'm going to leave you with that tonight. So it's always nice to end on a positive note. Not that last week was positive too. So, and, if I don't see you again on another live, enjoy your time in Puerto Rico with your honey. And I will be back on, and have a great night, Nancy. It was nice connecting with you. Where do I think Nancy Grace is? Are you talking Nancy Guthrie? Because Nancy Grace, we know she's got her show. Thank you, Nancy. You can follow my channel. Like, you're talking about Nancy Guthrie. Is that who you're talking about? I did talk about that with my mentor because I had a vision of her around February 6th. And I wanted to believe that she was here and not in spirit. But when I talked about it with one of my mentors, he's been doing this for 56 years, he said she was showing me that she's like learning how to walk now in spirit. He said, my mentor, he knows one of the sheriffs in the area. And he had said to me, he goes, do you know that neighborhood she lives in? I said, no. He goes, I've been in that neighborhood. He said, you can leave your car keys in your ignition. He goes, it's that safe. He said that she's buried somewhere in the desert. And they probably won't find her. And they know who did it, but they don't have the proof. And someone had a grudge, and this is why this happened. So, I don't go publicly. Like, there's some psychic medium going around saying that she's still with us, which I think is which I know. Yeah, I mean, it's really sad, too, because it can happen to anyone, but people have their theories why it happened to her. I mean, when I saw that of the suspect from the ring or the nest or whatever you want to call it, when I looked into his eyes, that's the moment I knew she wasn't here anymore. Yeah, it's awful. I did get very gripped into it myself, but okay, yeah, no, Amy was saying, that's interesting. That she didn't show up on the live. Yeah, it's awful. The whole thing with her. I was very gripped by what happened to her, and it wasn't until I talked to because when I was on the phone with my mentor, I was like, hey, I had a vision of Nancy Guthrie, and he was interested too because of my vision, and he said, you read the vision wrong, because I wanted to believe she was here, that's what the vision was telling me, but he said no, she was showing you that she's back in spirit. So there's a lot of layers with it. Whether she's buried in the Arizona desert, the Mexico, my mentor thinks in the Arizona desert. And he said, if you've ever, because the sheriff he knows from that area, it's a stretch. It can be stretches of 100 miles of nothing. He said they most likely will not find the body. We'll see. But if you're asking me that, when I talked about that with my mentor, that gave me closure. Yeah, and usually they call up for ransom, right? That's saying, yeah, it is suspicious because they usually want money. And there was, these, scammers pretending to have her asking for money that were bogus. Yeah, I mean, that was, one of the red flags. Yeah, no one. One psychic had said she was gone by the third day. I had that vision on February 6th, and that vision was to show me that she was back in spirit. That was February 6th. So that's about 6 weeks ago, right? She went missing around the 30th or the 31st of January, I believe. That's why saying when I talked with my mentor, then I got closure. I was able to move. It's very sad. And there are a lot of layers with it. Yeah, that's what too, when I talked with my mentor, he said somebody had a grudge, and that's why they emmed her. That's why they took her out. That's what my mentor said. in regards to her. So it's very sad. It's very scary. It really makes you rethink too with your loved ones and safety. That could happen to anyone. Yes, there are a lot of layers, but if you're asking me, that's what I've gotten in about her. But I don't go publicly talking about it. Like I said, some mediums are constantly making videos about it. I'm not. And the family's also grieving, and I respect that. But that's what I got in. And I'll say this, Nancy, I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. That's also one of the reasons why I don't do missing persons cases. It's one of because also the responsibility of a missing persons case, and God forbid I'm wrong. The responsibility of that, I don't touch it. I don't go near it. But you asked me and I shared that that's what I've gotten in. And when I talked with my mentor, that was what he had to say in regards to her. And he's very under the radar. He doesn't even have email. He's an old school medium, saying he does nothing online. And he's not interested in having a public profile. He has zero interest in it. So that to share, yeah, my mentor's really solid too. I go to him with a lot too. And it happened the one time that too, I was just like, hey, I had this vision of Nancy Guthrie, and he perked up and he was like, yeah, tell me the vision. And I told him and I said, well, I took it that she's alive. And he said, no. He said, you read the vision wrong. He said, she was showing you that she's back in spirit and she's learning how to walk now back in the spirit world. So yeah, that's what's saying. My mentor's really solid. I mean, some of the things that he knows, being so many years around too, I want to soak in every pearl of wisdom that he shares with me. So yeah, that, unfortunately, to end on that note, it is sad, but I hope for you too, maybe it gives you some, definitiveness about this with her. So yeah, I am going to end on that note. But, if you're interested, you can always tune in again, Nancy, to probably, as I said, Thursday, March 26th. I haven't definitely mapped out the time because I'm just going to be back from Vegas. So you're welcome, Nancy. It was nice connecting with you. Have a good night. Happy new moon. And I'm sure I will see you again. Good night. Good night. Good night.